The cosmological argument for the existence of God is a philosophical reasoning that attempts to prove God's existence by examining the nature of existence itself. The core premise is that since things exist, there must be a divine creator who brought everything into being. The argument posits that while God could exist independently of the universe cannot exist without God. Among several versions of this argument, the Thomistic version, developed by Thomas Aquinas, is particularly notable. Thomas argues for a, quote, unmoved mover based on the motion in the world. Aquinas observes that everything in motion is moved by something else, as nothing can actualize its own potential for movement. This chain of movers cannot extend infinitely, as it would be like having an infinite series of gears without a primary driving force. Therefore, there must be a first cause of all motion, and Thomas proposes God. The second way examines causation itself. Aquinas notes that nothing can cause its own existence, as this would require it to exist before it exists, a logical impossibility. All caused things must be caused by something else. This chain of causes, like a chain of motion, cannot be infinite and must lead back to an uncaused first cause, which is God. This first cause, by definition, must be immaterial, since it brought the material universe into being. Aquinas also focuses on necessary versus contingent beings. Contingent beings are those that don't have to exist and can cease to exist, while necessary beings must exist by their very nature. Aquinas argues that if everything were merely contingent, then, given infinite time, there would be a point where nothing existed at all. Since something clearly exists now, there must be at least one necessary being whose essence is identical to its existence. This being is God, whom Aquinas describes as being itself subsisting. These are just some of the arguments that form a logical progression demonstrating that God must exist as the ultimate source of motion, causation, and necessary existence. While complex, they provide a philosophical framework for understanding the relationship between God and the universe, suggesting that God's existence is not just possible, but necessary for the existence of everything else.